Mario, the face of gaming himself, recently received a great installment with the new Mario Bros. Wonder. And as someone who's never really been a big fan of Mario, I'll admit, the game was pretty good. But we're not here for Mario, we're here for Pokemon. And what better way to celebrate Mario's newest game than to play Pokemon Infinite Fusion? But the catch is, I can only use Mario Fusions. And as for the rest of the rules, there really isn't that many. So, with that all being said, when it came to choosing my starter, there were sadly no Mario-inspired fusions. So I was forced to settle with this Arbok sword, which I used to destroy my rival Wario, so that was pretty cool. After my flawless victory, my challenge officially begins, and my goal is to get a Mario-inspired fusion. And after running into some of these amazing fusions, I finally ran into this absolute beauty that I loved so much I decided that I would catch 2 of them. And now, my first goal is complete. With both Probo Passes, I fused the big man himself, Mario. And even though he does look like a FNAF animatronic, he's still my starter Pokemon. And more importantly, he's a Steel type, which is great against Brock's Rock type Pokemon, so I easily sweep his team. In the grass right outside Brock's gym, I find the Lucario fusion that I catch. Obviously, I can't use it now, but it'll come in handy later down the road. And once I get to Mount Moon, Team Rocket is causing trouble, so Brock gives me the TM for Rock Smash. So I can stop Team Rocket, which is surprising because they literally send out legendary Pokemon. But Mario is part rock, so I guess it works out in the end after all. Plus, I get the Dome Fossil. Then I catch this Trapinch fusion in the cave for later on in the run, as well as I get to see more godlike fusions. With the second gym in my sight, the only thing holding me back is my lack of Mario-inspired Pokemon, with my most recent capture being this Girafarig fusion. And by sheer luck, I straight up find a Toad in the grass, and to make sure he's in tip-top shape for Misty, I decide to face Wario in a battle. Mario smashes his Horde of Magnaros, as well as his whatever this thing is. Then we're introduced to this guy, which is also weak to Rock Smash, and finally he sends out his Tantu, so it can fall to a couple more rocks. After finding more intriguing fusions, I walk in on this and get the SS Ann ticket, and now with 2 Pokemon I can finally take on Misty. But in reality, Mario is super effective against both of her Pokemon, so I didn't even need Toad. So after another flawless victory, I stumble upon this guy, and again, it'll be useful later on. Anyway, on to my third rival fight, and this time Toad actually, well, never mind. His whole team gets swept by Mario, for a second time now, and I get cut from the captain to unlock Surge's gym. And then I realize I need a couple more teammates before I continue. For the 5th time now, I find another Pokemon that'll be useful later on, and I also find a shiny. Like, I had no use for it, but I guess finding a full odd shiny was pretty cool. And then I finally find 2 useful Pokemon, the first being this Chandlechoke, and the second being this Zobel, and now it's time to get the team building. With the recently caught Victory Bell and Trapinch from earlier, I fused them together to create a Piranha Plant. And with the recently caught Chandelure and Miss Magius from earlier, I fused them together to create Vivian from 1000 Year Door. And with my new ground type, Surge's gym was another easy sweep. And now with the 3rd gym done, I can go and buy fusion balls, which will be really useful for Rock Tunnel because every challenge run I've done so far, I've somehow always found something useful in the place I hated so much. And of course, my point is still proven with this fat ass horse. And speaking of fat asses, Wario challenges me to yet another battle. Mario takes out his Fuzzy Rabbit, Piranha Plant slices up his godlike Sushi, Vivian KOs the worst starter Pokemon in history, as well as one-shots one of the most interesting legendary Pokemon ever. Then Team Rocket kidnaps an old guy. So me being the 10-year-old I am, I go and sneak into their base and challenge their leader to a fight. But before all that can happen, I catch a Rat Toys on Route 7. And thanks to the Groudon fusion from earlier, I create Jack Black himself to help me in this fight against Giovanni. His Stun Cruel is no match for Mario shaking a tectonic plate. Vivian takes down his sleeping Quilmer with Psy Waves, and then he sends out Sunran. Now before saving the old timer, I face off against Erica, and at this point, the gyms are just straight child's play. Like, I didn't even have that many over-leveled Pokemon. She just has 3 really weak ones. Anyway, I found this Charpass, and with the horse from earlier, well, let's just say I didn't know your rival could join your team. Before I could save Mr. Fuji, however, this ghost attacked me with her... that, and after I defeated it, Mr. Fuji was saved, and now I can wake up Snorlax and head to the Safari Zone, where I caught this Corchamp, a Poryuk, and 2 Spinach. Now, with more Pokemon means more fusions. With the Porygon and Girafarig from earlier, I fused them together to create Luigi. With both Shroomish, I create a Goomba, and with the recently captured Machamp, I fused him with the Lucario fusion from the beginning of the game to get Mario. Again. So I named this one Super Mario. And now with a full team, I'm ready to face Koga. Bowser takes out his Zekraid, but then falls due to this evil creature. So Mario comes in to shift tectonic plates around to KO it. His Weedos gets pelted by rocks until he sends out his ace, Ivy Bell, which also gets pelted by rocks. Fast forward to my next fight with Wario, Bowser burns his Metagross to the ground, as well as he one-shots his Shellurio and washes away his Q-Quaza. His Gene Jr. comes out and outspeeds Bowser, so Vivian comes in to take it out, as well as his opposing Tantu. Now me and Wario team up to defeat Giovanni. Bowser takes out his Flyron, before being taken out by his Volca Sash. Then Mario avenges his rival by throwing rocks at a flaming sword, and Wario's Metagross, well, he continues to do nothing. Both of our Pokemon get taken out, so Vivian and Q-Quaza come in to take out his Vulpet and Mossel and beat Giovanni. Now with Silph Co done, Sabrina was next, and Vivian takes down her mummified corpse. Mario takes care of her airborne turtle. Bowser shifts the ground underneath her. I actually don't know what this is. And then Bowser finishes her off by washing her expired eggs for the 6th gym badge. Now, with only 2 gyms left, I decide to carry on and face Blaine. Now, the last 2 gyms were more of a challenge, so you would think the 7th gym would be harder, right? Well, Bowser took out 3 of his Pokemon, and then Mario came in to finish up his last one, so yeah. But hey, at least we get to have a cool boss fight after this. So it turns out Team Rocket fused the legendary birds together, and created this guy. Mario quickly takes out his Moltres with stone edges, and after Mario faints, Bowser lands a Surf before being KO'd by the Ice-type bird. Now Vivian takes over and burns said Ice-type, only leaving Zapdos to be defeated by the one and only Piranha Plant. The birds unfuse from each other, and Giovanni gives up being evil due to a 10-year-old, and we fight him one last time in the final gym. Bowser sweeps away his Quilper, then I send out Super Mario to sweep with sword dances, but his Manub uses Final Gambit, so back to Bowser I guess. And just like with every gym before, it gets entirely swept by a single one of my Pokemon. So now it was time to see if the Elite Four was that easy. Lorelei was up first. I used Vivian to take out her Delimander with Charge Beam so that her special attack would increase, so she could sweep her team with Fire Blast. But her Mammoth outsped with Earthquake, leading for Luigi's time in this spot. Oh my lord. Well, Mario and, well, at least he has 30 so he can finish, well, I've always been more of a Luigi guy myself. Anyway, on to Bruno, and he is the complete opposite of Lorelei. My plan worked this time, leading me to sweep his whole team with Vivian. So now on to Agatha, and just like with Bruno, Vivian sweeps her whole team, and maybe Luigi comes in for a bit of help. Now, it's time for Lance. I send out Super Mario to set up sword dances, but you know how well that ended. So I send out Vivian to burn it to a crisp. Bowser watches away his Druswine before being knocked out by Lance's Milogon. Mario is able to paralyze it before getting knocked out himself, leaving Vivian to be the only one to take it out. Luigi comes in and takes out his Pikachu with Tri-Attacks, leaving Vivian to finish off the last teammate and taking me to the championship fight. Super Mario finally does something useful by one-shotting as whatever the fuck that is. Then he dies to his Dewbell, so I really can't expect much out of him, can I? But Bowser comes in for the one shot, but fails to do the same thing to his Exisect, and it kinda costs him his life. Vivian, being the only useful Pokemon I really have at this point, takes it out, and then I switch into Mario to KO his Fairy-type Squidward. He sends out his Tantu, so I sack Luigi to bring back Bowser out of his coma, but he goes right back in, so then I sack Mario to bring back Super Mario and Bowser. And then I realize something. His Tantu is out of damaging moves, so I take this time to revive as many Pokemon as I can, and eventually I manage to take it out with, you guessed it, Vivian. Then Bowser spams Lava Plume on his Rosium for the championship title. And now, with the hardest fight in the game complete, I can finally say that it is indeed possible to beat Pokemon Infinite Fusion with only Super Mario Fusions. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you like content like this, feel free to subscribe. Thank you again.